Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Caitlin and I'm currently backpacking through Central America, and today I want to talk to you about Lake Atitlan. We're going to be discussing how to get here, what to do, where to stay, everything you need to know to visit this beautiful destination in Guatemala. First things first, to get to Lake Atitlan, you'll probably be coming from either Guatemala City, which is where the international airport is, or Antigua, which is another beautiful city near the central part of Guatemala. If you're coming from Guatemala City, you're probably looking at around 3.5 to 4 hours of travel time, and if you're coming from Antigua, you're probably looking at around 2.5 hours. Getting around in Guatemala, we have found shuttles are definitely the most prevalent form of transport here. While we've been jumping on chicken buses and doing all sorts of local transport throughout Central America, shuttles seem to be really the best and most obvious option to get around in Guatemala. If you're traveling with other people, taxis and Ubers can work out cheaper and more direct and more affordable sometimes. If you are traveling solo though, shuttles are probably your best bet. One other thing to note, when you are coming here, don't rely too hard on the suggested travel times because traffic in Guatemala can be crazy. A trip that took us an hour took a friend 4 hours the next day. So be prepared, be flexible, but shuttles are probably going to be your best bet. Once you arrive in the Lake Atitlan area, you are likely going to be dropped in Panajachel. This is the main town sitting on the shore of the lake, and it is the gateway to all of the other beautiful small villages that surround it. Deciding where to stay when you come to visit Lake Atitlan can be really confusing because this lake is huge. It sits in the crater of a really old volcano, and there are 11 towns that sit along the shore of this. Getting around here is predominantly by water taxi, and it is super easy and fairly affordable. You're generally looking at around 25 quetzales per ride. Out of the 11 towns and villages that sit on the shore of Lake Atitlan, there are 5 that really stand out and are the kind of hot spots for people to stay at and visit during their time here. Before we get into the things you can do in Lake Atitlan, I want to quickly talk about those 5 towns to help you either figure out where to stay or add things to your to-do list and itinerary for when you come here. First up is Panajachel. This is the main town, this is your gateway to all the other towns, but I think this is a really cool town and not worth overlooking. It is full of bars, restaurants, markets, and honestly, there are so many people here trying to give you taxis and tours, and it's really a tourist destination, but it is beautiful and there's a lot of authentic Mayan culture coming through in the streets here as well. I think a day to a couple of days in this area is plenty. If you are backpacking like we are, Dreamboat Hostel is one of the most recommended hostels in the area. It was fully booked when we were here, so we are not staying there unfortunately, but we have stayed at the Salina, which is another beautiful location in Panajachel. Moving anti-clockwise around the lake, next up is Santa Cruz. This is a beautiful, small little Mayan village in the hillside of the lake, and it is a little bit of a hike to get up there. There are 2 really notable hostels in this area that are super popular amongst backpackers. They are La Iguana and Free Cerveza. We spent a couple of nights at Free Cerveza, and the best way to describe this hostel is just a summer camp for adults. There is shared accommodation in tents, there are beautiful private rooms with glass front windows, and they have free stand-up paddleboard rentals, they have group family dinners, they have lots of activities. It was really fun, but I will say there wasn't a whole lot to do in this area, so it was a great place for us for a couple of nights, but I don't think you need too much time there unless you want to be taxi boating out every day. The next town along is San Marcos. This town is described online as a hippie town, and I think that is 100% correct. The minute we set foot on the dock here, we absolutely fell in love with the vibes of this town. Think yoga, relaxed dining, swimming, cliff jumping, just the most laid back vibes you can find, and that will be San Marcos. As soon as we landed here, we decided we wanted to spend a couple nights here, so we did, but we found hostels were really hard to find online, so we didn't think it was a super popular place to stay. We ended up staying at Casa Madeira, which we booked via booking.com, and we found it was beautiful. Eagle's Nest is a really popular place to visit here. I'm going to get into more of that in the things to do section, but if you're into just laid back, hippie, chill vibes, San Marcos might be the place for you. The second last one I want to mention is San Juan. This is a beautiful, colorful, cultural town right on the very far side of the lake. It is absolutely stunning, and there are so many fun things you can do here. Whether you just go for a day or you spend a couple nights there, either is a great way to see it. Finally, right next to San Juan is San Pedro. This is said to be the absolute hub for backpackers, and it seems like quite a bit of a party town. We didn't spend much time in San Pedro, but I've heard people stay there and they said they loved it. I would just be prepared to party and meet other people. There is a hostel there called Mr. Mullet's, I think, which has quite the reputation. If you're into that, you can go check that one out. Now, if you have 4 or more nights in the Lake Atitlan area, I would really recommend splitting your stay up between locations. It's going to save you money on taxi boats, and it's also going to give you a little bit more of an appreciation for what these places are like, kind of after the taxi boats stop running. We had about a week here in Lake Atitlan, and we split our time between Panajachel, Santa Cruz, and San Marcos, and we loved our approach that way. I think 5 to 7 nights in this area is pretty perfect. You can stay longer if you want to do something like Spanish school or a yoga retreat or really just relax. But for us, 7 days was the perfect amount of time to relax, see everything we wanted to see, and make the most of being in this beautiful area. Hopefully something in that explanation has helped you figure out where to stay and kind of the geography of this lake a little bit and what sits around it. But for now, let's get into all the cool things you can actually do while you're visiting. Things to add onto the itinerary, so let's take a look at those. First things first, go for a wander among the streets of Panajachel. There are plenty of beautiful, beautiful stores to look in and a great selection of cafes and restaurants. My favourite cafes and lunch spots were Florida Cafe with these stunning views and the Little Spoon. We also went to a sushi restaurant which had 2-for-1 sushi on a Thursday, and it's the only sushi in town, so if you're interested, you'll be able to find it. Next up, I would recommend spending at least half a day in San Juan. Here you can join a weaving demonstration to learn about the textile process, take part in a local cooking class where they take you to the markets, purchase the groceries, and then teach you some beautiful local dishes, or you can join a talk about the stingless bees in the area. This was something that was promoted to us as soon as we got off the water taxi, so I think it's something you'll be able to find quite easily. This town is absolutely beautiful just to wander through the streets and take part in these activities because they are super interesting and quite unique. Another really cool thing to do while you're visiting Lake Atitlan is to come out to San Marcos. But the coolest thing is this park that's right on the lake, and you get to do cliff jumps, and it is so cool. I was terrified, I did hurt my butt, but it was amazing. San Marcos was one of our favorite towns in Lake Atitlan, and there were plenty of really cool things to do, but this 12-meter cliff jump was something I saw online before coming, and it was an absolute highlight of our trip. Located in the natural reserve right near the boat dock, you can access this absolutely beautiful swimming spot just in a couple of minutes walk. It costs just a couple of dollars to enter the park, and you can spend as much time there as you like. This 12-meter platform is built. There is a lifeguard there who tells you how to jump, and if that seems a little bit high, which for me it was, I did it and I hurt myself, there are some smaller options right in the same area. Okay, so I can have him out for 2 seconds and then bring him in.
1 second.
1 second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
No, scary. If you're into great, healthy food, San Marcos is also an amazing spot to be. We loved the Emporium. It's an open garden area with a few different restaurants inside, and the food served is absolutely incredible. It is mostly vegan, vegetarian, but it is so whole food based and such a nice change when you're traveling. Circles is another great cafe with fantastic bread and pastries. Both of these are located on the street as soon as you get off the boat dock, so they are very easy to find, and they are very much worth a visit. Another cool thing to do while you're in San Marcos is come up to the Eagle's Nest. It is a beautiful resort yoga facility. You can stay up here. It's a little bit pricier, but after just being here for a couple minutes, it is so beautiful. We've booked in a yoga class today. We might hang around and do the sauna later, but just look at these views. This alone is so worth the $2 tuk-tuk to get up here. Eagle's Nest is in an absolutely stunning location and has some of the best views over Lake Atitlan that we found. Their yoga platform here is absolutely incredible. I don't know if I'll ever practice yoga in such a beautiful space again. Our class was $20 each US, and I think it was totally worth it. I would pay that at home, so I was so happy to come and do it here. We made a day of it by getting some food in the restaurant and enjoying the views before heading back down the hill. So another cool thing to do while you're in Lake Atitlan is actually head out on the lake bright and early for a sunrise paddle. By about 11 o'clock here, the lake gets really choppy, so coming out nice and early is the key to having a calm paddle. There are still some boats around, but it is really beautiful. We have a smoky morning, but it kind of adds to it a little bit. Staying at Free Cerveza is an experience in itself, and if you want a night or two here, you'll probably need to book in advance, but it's well worth it. When we stayed, we could only get one night, but we kept an eye on cancellations and managed to sneak in a second. This hostel has a great reputation and it's lots of fun. It's located right on the shore of the lake. It was unfortunately really smoky when we were there, but the views on a clear day would be absolutely incredible. They have so many free activities, family dinners, free paddleboard rentals, and 2 hours of free beer a day if you sign up for the family dinner. It's such a great place to switch off, and it's very easy to get taxi boats from if you want to go out and explore as well. That is everything that we did, experienced, and learnt while being in Lake Atitlan. It is such a beautiful area of Guatemala, and it is a must if you're traveling here and you have the time to visit. Thank you so much for watching. If there's something that stood out to you or something you really liked, please let me know. Or if there's something we missed, other travelers always love to hear about it. Thank you guys. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.